Play a Mozart symphony for a dog, and it hears nothing but noise. Play it for a chimpanzee, and it doesn't care. But play a certain sequence of notes for a human, and they will physically cry. We are the only species on this planet whose nervous system can be completely hijacked by vibrating air. And the reason why changes everything we know about human survival. Right now, you can put on a pair of headphones, press play, and within seconds, your brain chemistry will alter. Your heart rate will match the tempo of the drums. Your breathing will change. You might get chills down your arms. Scientists call this piloerection. It's the exact same physiological response your ancestors had when a predator snapped a twig in the dark. It is a freeze response, a sudden spike of adrenaline designed to keep you alive when danger is near. But you aren't in danger. You are just sitting on a train, listening to a string quartet. Your brain is confusing organized sound waves with a life-or-death situation. And for over a century, evolutionary biologists have been completely baffled by this. Because strictly speaking, music should not exist. Evolution is ruthless. It only rewards behaviors that help you survive and reproduce. Hunger keeps you fueled. Fear keeps you safe. Pain teaches you what to avoid. Every instinct you have is a calculated mechanism for survival. But music provides 0 calories. It doesn't shield you from the cold. It doesn't hide you from predators. In fact, if you're sitting in a forest making loud rhythmic noises, you are actively inviting predators to come and eat you. From a pure survival standpoint, music is a massive, dangerous waste of energy. Charles Darwin, the man who figured out evolution, called human music the greatest mystery of our species. Decades later, cognitive scientist Steven Pinker famously dismissed music as auditory cheesecake. He argued it was just a useless evolutionary byproduct, a glitch. Our brains evolved complex language, and music just happened to tickle the same neurological circuits, the way cheesecake hijacks our taste buds. It was a neat explanation. It made sense. But Pinker was wrong, and the proof was buried inside a freezing cave in southern Germany. In 2008, archaeologists excavating the Whole Fels cave found something impossible. Deep in the dirt, they uncovered a piece of bone from a griffon vulture. It was hollowed out, meticulously polished, with 5 perfectly spaced holes carved into it. It was a flute, and it was 40,000 years old. Think about that for a second. 40,000 years ago, Europe was in the middle of a brutal ice age. Survival was a daily agonizing struggle. Human beings were freezing, starving, and fighting off cave lions and dire wolves. And yet, in the middle of this frozen hellscape, somebody spent hours, maybe days, carefully hollowing out a bird bone just so they could blow air through it and make a melody. You don't waste that kind of time and energy in an ice age for auditory cheesecake. You only do it if the survival of your species depends on it. You can see this wiring from the very beginning of life. Long before a baby can understand a single word you say, it understands rhythm. Infants will spontaneously sway and bounce to music before they can even walk. Lullabies exist in every culture on Earth. Mothers instinctively use a specific musical cadence, often called motherese, to soothe their children. The baby's brain doesn't understand the vocabulary, it understands the pitch, the tempo, the biological promise that it is not alone. Language is something you have to learn. Rhythm is something you already know. So what is music actually doing for us? To answer that, you have to look inside a modern MRI scanner. When neuroscientists scan the brain of someone listening to music, the results are explosive. It doesn't just activate the auditory cortex. It lights up the motor cortex, the emotional centers, and the memory networks. But most importantly, it floods the brain with dopamine, the exact same chemical reward your brain gives you for eating sugar or having sex. Your biology is treating music as if it is essential for the continuation of the species. But here's the part nobody talks about. When you look at the brains of people playing music together or singing in a choir, something even stranger happens. Their brain waves literally sync up. In 2013, researchers at the Max Planck Institute monitored guitarists playing a duet. Before they even played the first note, Just by looking at each other and preparing to play, their neural oscillations aligned. When humans sing together, their heart rates synchronize, they literally breathe as one organism, and their brains flood with oxytocin, the cuddle hormone, the chemical responsible for maternal bonding and deep trust. Music wasn't a glitch, it was the original internet. Before we had language complex enough to explain laws or borders or shared religions, we had rhythm. In a harsh ancient world, a group of humans that could not cooperate would die. Period. If you were alone, you were dead. You needed a way to bind 50 individual selfish brains into one unified cooperative superorganism. Language can lie, words can deceive, but rhythm cannot be faked. When 50 people stomp their feet and chant in perfect time around a fire, the boundary of the self dissolves. You stop being an individual, you become the tribe. This is why militaries march to a cadence. This is why churches sing hymns. This is why 80,000 strangers in a stadium can feel a sudden, overwhelming sense of brotherhood when the bass drops. Music was the evolutionary glue that stopped us from killing each other long enough to build a civilization. But there's another layer to this, the sadness, the paradox of why humans actively seek out sad music. When you are grieving or heartbroken, you don't listen to upbeat pop songs. You listen to music that breaks your heart even further. You willingly subject yourself to auditory pain. Why? Because when you hear a sorrowful voice, your brain releases prolactin. It's a comforting hormone, the exact same one released when a mother comforts a crying child. Sad music acts as a surrogate companion. It tricks your brain into thinking someone is mourning with you. It is a biological safety net. And then we conquered the world. We built cities, we invented agriculture, we wrote down our laws and forgot why we needed the songs in the first place, which brings us back to you. Today, the way you consume music is an evolutionary contradiction. For 300,000 years, music was a deeply communal act. You never heard a melody without seeing the people making it. You never felt a rhythm without feeling the bodies moving around you. Now you put little plastic speakers in your ears, and you listen in total isolation. You walk through crowded city streets, surrounded by thousands of people, trapped in your own private soundtrack. You are using the ultimate social bonding tool to separate yourself from the world. We took the tribal fire and we boxed it up. And maybe that's why when you sit alone in your room late at night and a certain chord progression hits you, you feel that sudden heavy ache in your chest. It's not just sadness, it's an evolutionary phantom limb. Your brain is processing the chemical signals of deep, profound connection, but when it looks around, the room is empty, the tribe is gone, you are feeling the ghost of a 40,000-year-old campfire, and the music is just your biology trying to find its way back home.